Welcome everybody to Sprint Car 101. McKenna is 13th in points this season. Your average feature finish is 13th, but you had a second place. When was the first time you actually went to a racetrack, and how old were you then?
The first time I ever went to any racetrack, I was 9 or 10, and the first time I ever stepped foot in a race car, I was 12, and I started racing when I was 13.
What class is at English Creek? I've never been down there actually, so I don't know much about what kind of classes they have.
I ran box stock for 2 years. It's a class for kids aged 8 to 13 years old, and they're 12-horse clone motors.
Results-wise, how did you do there over the years? Did you win some races?
Yeah, my rookie year, I was at all top 3 feature finishes, and my second year, I had 15 combined feature and heat race wins and 22 heat and feature combined second place finishes.
Pretty good. Well, McKenna, 17 years old. Where do you go to high school?
Carlisle High School.
What you play other sports there?
I play golf for Carlisle, and I do martial arts and taekwondo, but not in school.
It's pretty busy then. What belt are you?
2nd degree black belt.
I think Keoni can still take you. How good a golfer are you?
I got a hole in one once, and yeah, I'm all right, I guess.
So, how did you decide to jump into a sprint car this past season?
We ran micro sprint cars the past 2 years, and in any of the cars that I raced, we never really ran the same class, the exact same class twice from season to season. And so I knew racing was what I wanted to do, so we kind of decided to just keep moving up the ladder if it was possible and if the opportunity was there, and luckily it was, and so we made the jump.
You've been pretty popular as far as the racetrack this year. There's always lots of kids in your pit area. That's going to be pretty cool, being in the position that you are to kind of, what's the word I want to say? Just be a good influence on younger kids. Yeah,
the kids have been awesome this year, and all the fans in general. I hope to inspire a lot of younger kids, and I like helping younger racers that are kind of getting started as well, so especially little girls and stuff like that. So it's cool to make a difference in their life if possible, and put a smile on their face every Saturday night after the races.
It seems like to me you've picked up on driving these cars pretty quick. I mean, the second place in the feature, you won a couple of heat races. I guess, are you surprised yourself that you've adapted so quickly to these cars, considering the competition in the 305 class?
Yeah, the competition this year is definitely really, really good, and a lot of these guys have a lot of experience and stuff, but I try to prepare myself as best as possible, and definitely put a lot of work into it before we ever showed up at the track. So, yeah, I've been a little surprised, but at the same time, I've just been trying to learn every weekend and mainly finish. We didn't get to start 2 features this year, and that killed my points and also my learning curve. I didn't get to learn anything from watching as much as I could from behind the wheel. So, but yeah, so hopefully we can keep the rain away, and so I can keep learning and moving forward and having consistent finishes.
How about you? I know you've had a chance running with Casey Kade when you were younger.
Yes, I did. Casey's probably my favorite race car driver. I got to meet him for the first time in a shopping mall in Tennessee because he was there prior signing autographs, but I also got to go bowling with Tony Stewart, so he's one of my other favorite drivers, and then obviously Danica Patrick, Aaron Crocker, yeah, I look up to them too. So. Did you get to meet Erin when she was here a couple weeks ago? Yes, she came to my trailer, her and Ray did, and they were really cool, so I was really happy to get to meet her.
Second place best finish for a female driver at the track, according to my records anyway. Had a couple of thirds and fourths, but have you met Natalie Saver? Did you get to meet her last week?
No, I have not gotten to meet Natalie. Well, actually, yeah. I got to meet her last year because I pet her dog, but I've never gotten to have a conversation with her.
So, outside of racing in school, what are some other interests that you have?
The stock market is, other than racing in school, my main hobby and passion. So
Stock market. You're 17, don't you like play video games or anything?
No, I think video games aren't good for your brain, so, no, the stock market is my life, I guess.
You got some hot tips for me?
Some hot tips.
I just had a big meeting today at work about my 401k, so I'm...
Stay out of mutual funds.
That's all my 401k is.
You need to get some stocks and diversifiers.
What are you gonna do when you get out of school?
What was your name again?
My name's Linda Roberts.
Linda. I would like to study finance and go to college to study finance, but that's a good question, Linda, I think.
Where do you want to go to college?
The closest place to this racetrack.
She's committed.
Each of you, 5 years from tonight or tomorrow, where do you see yourselves at?
I was always told that to always keep moving and racing because 5 years go by and then you're right where you were. So that's pretty much my goal, is to just always keep moving up and taking opportunities if they're presented. And I would like to eventually be an outlaw driver someday if possible. So that's my long-term goal.
How would you describe your induction into the rookie class by all of maybe the veteran drivers this year, and how were you welcomed? What's that feel like coming in as a brand new rookie?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of rookies in our class this year, and a lot of them have prior experience, and just the class in general is really strong. But all in all, I love the 305 class. I love all my fellow drivers, so I would say that way, but no, they're all awesome. They're all really supportive, and yeah, I look forward to seeing them all and racing them all every Saturday night.
We got a question for McKenna. Let's come in on Twitter. All right. How do you balance race car maintenance in school? Do you actually work on the race car yourself?
Yes, we bought my car in January, and shortly after, like every night, we were in the shop till really late at night. So school-wise, what I tried to do was I tried to build up my grades as high as possible before we kind of got going, so that way I could focus a little bit more on racing and still balance school with it at the same time. So I kept my 4.0 and still working all the time in the shop every night. So
You got a 4.0 kid?
No. How much hands-on do each of you do with the car?
usually just every Sunday we spend the whole day, clean the whole thing, and I do like most of the motor stuff, and then we just kind of, me and my dad work together and just go through the whole thing. So yeah, I don't like to miss out on anything because then you don't learn anything. So I try to be there for as much as possible.
McKenna, did your mom have any inhibitions about you racing?
Yeah, she comes, so far she's come to all the races, but she's very nervous, and I don't think she watches very much. But yeah, both my parents definitely get really, really nervous having me out there. I'm not scared, but I think it terrifies them to death. So
McKenna, how many times have you flipped?
I flipped my little car once. I flipped my micro once, and I crashed into the wall once.
No broken bones or anything?
No, but I plan to like take a break from all that. A couple seasons or something like that. And
Ken, were your parents race fans before you got started this?
no, they were softball fans and dance and horseback riding. Pretty much, yeah. This was kind of unexpected for them, but now they're in it. So
You guys want to move up to asphalt and race NASCAR?
Go ahead.
definitely, if the opportunity is there, I would love to do that. But as far as like at the same level, it's just really expensive, and so not that this is cheap, but I just if the opportunity is there to keep progressing, then yeah, definitely.
Hannah, what's the best advice you could give a young girl who's just starting to drive with her permit and is a little scared? From Cynthia.
I would say keep being scared, because I usually tell people that I've driven race cars all over the country, and the scariest thing out there is the vehicle on the road. So honestly, those cars, you can't really feel them. They're pretty deceiving, and it's not much of a thrill to go 10 over or whatever. If you want to go fast, go karting or something like that, but just be safe.
Heard something about you're having trouble breathing while you're racing.
Yeah, apparently I forget to do that, but thanks to this nice gentleman here in the back, he taught me how to breathe along with Brian Brown. So this last feature that we ran before all the rainouts, I started breathing when I raced.
So you haven't, like, you were noticing, like, you were getting lightheaded or anything?
Oh yeah. I got out of my car one night, Keoni was standing like right there, and he was like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "I got out there way too fast." So I started breathing now, and that works pretty well.
You dived a lot, but I don't think I can hold my breath as long as you. I gotta say.
When you're driving, can you see the scoreboard? Do you keep track of the scoreboard?
When I, can I
When-
Go ahead.
Okay, well, my last feature, I refused to look at the scoreboard, so the only person I knew where they finished was Hedrick. He was ahead of me, and I had no idea what went on behind me, because I was too scared to look, so I try not to look, but.
Do you have any superstitions?
Oh gosh, yes. My hair bow, my hair tie, pretty much anything I'm wearing. Yeah, I get really superstitious. I have to put my gloves on just right, and
Put the left on before the right?
oh, actually, if you buy like Alpine Star gloves, they say win on the inside with a little checkered flag, and so I always have to flip it on each glove before I put it on. And I have to say the racer's prayer, and yeah, I have this whole thing that I go through, so it's extensive.
Keoni, you got any?
He worries about his hair.
His
I
hair
lost my
bow.
hair tie, so we've been out to lunch this whole season. Where do you get yours at?
What are you thinking?
Oh, it's just like your heart just goes like this. It was just so sad, because you were like like the pace truck was there, and then they pulled you in. You were like all ready to go and everything, and then I sat in the pits for like the longest time, hoping that maybe we'd get a race, and then we didn't get to. So
What's the biggest obstacle that you guys have each faced so far this year?
making it through the whole night in terms of, you know, in the future you gotta lay it all out on the line, but just getting there is the biggest challenge. In my previous years, hot laps, you kind of went out warmed up and then you came in and then you're ready to race. Well, now it's, you gotta be ready to go right at the beginning, and then that kind of dictates your whole evening. So I'd also like to get more laps on our feature tracks. They're only 12 laps and the track's totally different on that surface than it is any other time during the night. And so I'd like to get more laps on that type of track because that makes it tough.
You're playing college, right?
Yeah, for now, my plan is college. Obviously, I want to be a race car driver, but in the meantime, studying finance and investments and stuff like that. The way I look at it, if that goes good, then I'll be able to afford my own racing. So I plan to be in racing for as long as I live.
How do you guys keep in shape for racing? I know what she does. She sent you to black belt, right?
Yeah, but I need to be, I'm working on that because I'm not as strong as a lot of these guys, and so I'm trying to get stronger because by like the end of the 12 laps, like if it was 13, we'd be cutting it close. So, so I'm working on that, but yeah, I do a lot of sports, so.
She can only hold her breath for 12 laps.
Do the other two have like boyfriends, girlfriends?
No, no.
You have a boyfriend.
No boyfriend here. I see you racing now, so. Heard that, Jamie. Yeah.
No, I've been told not to date race car drivers, and I don't plan on it anyway for 2 reasons. Number one, most of the boys that I race with, I look at like brothers. Number two, that's not why I'm here to race, so.
Good answer.
Good girl.
For you. No matter what age you're at, depends is still a good idea. And you get all your windows blown out in your house and you're kind of there because you and your girlfriend. It's a lifelong lesson.
Where'd the girlfriend come from?
We've been together for 6 years, and after that, she went to Hawaii 2 weeks later. And that explains why I'm out here alone. It's one of those, yeah, I'm gonna go back. See ya. Well, sorry. So.
You said you didn't have a boyfriend, but you didn't explain to us a girlfriend.
Yeah, totally. Pass that up.
There you go.
How did this get about me?